4 years ago, we went to this self-determination training. We knew that David was going to be graduating sooner than we were probably going to be ready for, and we needed to think about what that future was going to look like. We knew he had some very clear dreams and desires, but we also knew it wasn't just going to happen. You know, we were going to have to really be very intentional about it if we wanted things to pan out for him. So we went to this training and did some work with David and a group of people around the table, as I remember, who knew David and cared about David, and talked about what were his dreams. And some of your dreams were, do you remember?
My own lawn service.
He wanted to own his own lawn service.
My own truck.
He wanted to own his own truck, and you wanted a driver's license, which I'm not sure I ever imagined would happen. He was living in the tree house, so he wanted to live in the tree house, wanted to keep running, as I remember. He was a runner. I think when we did the original training, he was a sophomore, and he had been running cross country for 3 years and wanted to continue that. And so we talked about how to improve his running skills. And
being a train engineer, but that didn't work.
Yeah, he wants to be a train engineer, and that's still probably something to be looked at. I mean, we've definitely made progress on those goals, but there's still some that are out there. Windrich Therapeutic Equestrian Center, David rode there for 10 years, and so they offered him the opportunity to start learning how to mow out there, and actually gave him one of their old Craftsman mowers. That was your first riding mower, wasn't it? Mm-hmm.
Still running today.
So he would mow out at Windrich, I don't know, once a week.
All the thing over there to...
Yeah, we would haul it over to Windrich in a trailer, and he would mow, and we practiced making straight lines. He didn't do real well seeing the definition between where he had cut and where he hadn't cut. And so we worked real hard at figuring out where those lines were and how to mow straight lines. That was one opportunity, and another opportunity that came up was actually a good friend of ours in the disability advocacy world, Jonas Schwartz. Jonas was David's first employer, and
it grew from there.
We went to Jonas's yard like once a week or once every 10 days. The whole family went. It was a big family affair, and we had that was a push mower deal, wasn't it? So we had push mowers and weed eaters.
War boots.
And I remember I remember walking in front of the push mower. David was pushing the mower, and I would walk in front of it and use my hands to show him where the lines were and just pray he wouldn't mow my heels. Which we had some close calls. I had to really pay attention to my speed, but that's how he learned to start making straight lines. We tried that. We tried using string to rope off the lines so he could see, to mow, because people want their lawns mowed in straight lines.
Like Miss Kathy, she likes me doing it this way. Like
Kathy likes it on a diagonal. She upped the ante, didn't she? Yeah. So, I mean, it was really a work in progress just to get him to be able to see where he had cut and where he hadn't cut, and not mowing all over creation, but instead mowing in straight lines and being time efficient with it. And then there was another lady that I'd forgotten about her. There was an elderly lady that called the police a lot, and my husband responded to one of her calls and got to talking to her, and found out that she needed somebody to mow her lawn, so he volunteered David. And again, it became a family affair. We would go over to Miss Hughes' yard once a week. So that was David's second employer, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. I think, by then he'd begun to develop some skills. I guess in the meantime, you were in school. He was a varsity runner. So his junior and senior year, he was the number 2 distance runner. So by the time he got to his senior year, he was a very accomplished distance runner. The cross-country team really came together his senior year, and it was a tight-knit group of guys, and they worked together 6 days a week and ran together, and they were good friends. They ate together at the Chick-fil-A. It was a great time. So you had friendships like you'd never had before, right? The running definitely panned out from what we had. The running was more than we ever imagined, 4 years ago. His senior year, he was nominated for the
Yes,
Council for Exceptional Children,
Yes, I Can award.
the Yes I Can Award. So we flew to where?
Boston.
Flew to Boston for this big ceremony. But it was a real big, really nice big ceremony. He was...
My head was big.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. We told his brother had to poke a pin in it regularly and let the air out. And then what happened? You graduated, right? What did you get from Uncle Kip that was a really great graduation gift?
Weed eater.
A really nice commercial grade weed eater, right? Yeah. Well, and the other thing I should say is that David worked starting his junior year. He started working at a Presbyterian church camp near here. And so we knew the staff, and we just approached him about, you know, this is something we envisioned David doing for a career. Would you be willing to help him get started with employment? And so they offered him a part-time job. He had to go interview, didn't you? Had to fill out the application, go for an interview. And so he was employed there that first summer for probably about 15 hours a week at minimum wage. What are some important things you learned on the job?
Can't text on your cell phone at work.
Right. What else did you learn on the job that was really important to know about work? Like what happened with Ross and the other guy?
Oh, I was fishing for tadpoles. I knew I shouldn't have, and PJ was working, and I was fishing for tadpoles with him on the...
When you were supposed to be working. So what was the lesson you learned?
Not to goof off.
Mm-hmm. When you're getting paid to work, you're supposed to be working, right? So, you know, there were some real important lessons about how to manage your time and what's okay on the job and what's not okay. But it was a safe place to learn it with good supportive people. And then after he graduated, you know, we started looking into this lawn mowing business, but it's
When
very
Roger comes in.
expensive. Yeah, that's when Roger Shelley comes into the picture, because it's very expensive, you know, just even buy one lawn mower. And he really needed a lot of equipment. And Community Health Corps had a self-employment grant opportunity come up. So they offered David a $2,000 grant to get him started in this lawn mowing business. So he got a whole lot of really good equipment.
They had all the equipment loaded in the trailer, the little wagon. Like,
Uh-huh.
Here you go. It's like Christmas in July.
Yeah, it was
that.
like Christmas in July, wasn't it? Yeah. But we knew we needed a trailer, right? Oh, and you needed a truck.
So I bought it from B.H. Jameson, which is a judge in Longview.
So we bought the truck for Dave. He did get his driver's license. Did I say that? That was something that we had talked about that he wanted 4 years ago. It was a pretty big deal when you got that day, huh?
Got it.
And then we looked in the Thrifty Nickel and watched for lawn trailers and found a lawn trailer from a kid that was going off to college. And it was pretty junky when we bought it, but what'd you do? What'd we do?
We put it on jacks and shined it up, used the wire brush, repainted it, the whole thing, and put new lights on it.
So between, we bought the truck, we bought the trailer, the grant bought a lot for $2,000. So we got started last summer.